This evacuation has been called unparalleled in U.S. military history. As they prepare to leave, the roads and bridges have been blocked or blown up by the encircling Reds. At a supply port in Japan, food and ammunition are packed to be flown to the trapped troops seeking escape. In the emergency, Japanese laborers cooperate to speed the vital material on its way. Flying boxcars head for the area where the plight of the beleaguered troops has aroused the entire nation. Bridge sections to replace a crossing blasted by the Reds are parachuted to reopen the only escape route. This is the first time a bridge has ever been airdropped. In the face of enemy fire, medical supplies and food are parachuted. Without them, the troops would never make it. The going is already tough enough. As the Marines leave, they destroy all equipment and installations that are impossible to transport through the menacing enemy. At an improvised airstrip carved out of the frozen terrain by the Marines, wounded are evacuated to hospitals in Japan. Badly shattered men and men frostbitten beyond belief in the terrible cold are put aboard planes for a safe harbor. A 5-year-old Korean child who suffered from Chinese fire is cared for by the Marines. Fought heroically side by side in this grim business, and none of the wounded is left behind. These are some of the casualties of the embattled 20,000 who fought their way through 6 Chinese divisions. Facing all the terror, the misery of evacuation and actual death, they can still laugh it off. This is it. It's the long, perilous road to Hungnam and the fleet of United Nations ships waiting to receive them. Many weary miles later, they join up with another encircled group of Marines. From here, it's a few short miles to friendly territory. But the road to Hungnam has been a long road through hell. One of the military miracles of the century unfolds an epic chapter in Korea. Survivors roll down the highway to the evacuation port of Hungnam as comrades and members of the relief column cheer them on. It is a 2-week saga of courage and endurance in bitter cold that brings Marines, GIs, and South Koreans through an ordeal which began 60 miles back, when their positions at the Chosin Reservoir were surrounded by Red Chinese hordes streaming by the hundreds of thousands over the Manchurian border. The Chinese Reds also suffered the rigors of the North Korean winter. A frozen hand can't grasp a cup, and he learns the meaning of humanity from a Marine. The frightful hardships of the United Nations troops as they fought their way every step is illustrated by this Chinese prisoner whose feet are encased in a solid sheath of ice. At Hungnam, an armada stands by to evacuate the beleaguered 20,000 UN troops. But as they face an estimated force of 160,000 Chinese, they defend their rapidly shrinking perimeter with its store of supplies. Nowhere is there panic as truck convoys roll in to unload their contingents.
Everything of military value in the cities of Hamhung and Hungnam is to be carried away or destroyed. Huge shipments of military equipment had poured into the area for weeks to supply the expected victory march to the Manchurian border. Now these supplies, sent here to support the whole 10th Corps, are piled up and carried out to the transports again. Headquarters equipment, rehabilitation supplies, everything goes as Korean civilians pitch in to help. Most of the Korean population is hoping there will be shipping space for them to go too. The vast quantity of equipment that is being moved here is more easily comprehended when you think of the units involved. The 10th Corps that is being evacuated includes 3 full U.S. divisions: the 1st Marine Division, the 3rd Infantry Division, and the 7th Infantry Division, plus thousands of South Korean troops. The personnel involved in this move is equal to the entire population of Dayton, Ohio. Over 100,000 civilian refugees from the Hungnam area are taken to freedom along with the troops, but thousands must be left behind to the uncertain mercy of the communists. The refugees pour down to the docks until every available ship is jammed. Their eagerness to abandon their homes and possessions is pitiful proof of their fear of the communist regime. These people, who have known red domination, give dramatic evidence that they have had enough. Every effort is made to evacuate as many as possible to the Busan area. Busan is already swarming with hundreds of thousands of refugees who have fled from other parts of Korea. This huge migration poses a major problem to UN authorities. Loaded down with their few belongings, or a baby, the refugees push forward to the ships. The Hungnam evacuation entails the movement of 105,000 soldiers, 17,500 vehicles, and 350,000 tons of equipment. The communists, whose supply lines from Manchuria are under constant attack by our planes, will sorely miss this huge haul of military equipment which so nearly fell to them as a prize of war. Rear guard troops hold fast on the shrinking perimeter of the beachhead with the support of naval guns from the harbor, and this valuable materiel is saved for other battles. With the United States 3rd Division fighting the principal holding action, the rest of the 10th Corps is taken aboard the evacuation ships. The 3rd Division had been fighting to the south of the Marines in the original advance to the border. In spite of the apparent turmoil, the troop evacuation is calm and orderly. The removal of the wounded has first priority. Although the more serious cases have been loaded on earlier ships or taken out by air, casualties keep coming in from the defense perimeter. In spite of the fact that our forces are greatly outnumbered, the cost in casualties is much lighter than for a comparable time during the summer defense of the Busan beachhead. Landing craft form an endless conveyor belt running from the docks to the transports waiting in the harbor. It takes a lot of boatloads to carry 100,000 soldiers. On hand to receive the 10th Corps troops is a large U.S. Navy amphibious fleet commanded by Rear Admiral Doyle. The guns of the 7th Fleet, under Vice Admiral Struble, support the evacuation. This redeployment of an entire Army Corps by sea has never been attempted before. But the U.S. forces, pioneers in mass beachhead operations, simply take their well-perfected amphibious landing techniques and work them in reverse. The evacuation begun on 12 December is well along by the 20th of the month. The gallant fighting force, which fought its way to the coast against tremendous odds, takes leave of Northern Korea. But the Red aggressors will be meeting them again.